Hello everyone, this video is strictly for educational purposes only. Please do not try or attempt it without permission. So today I'll be showing you Windows privilege escalation. First, we'll be using pillaging, which is a process of obtaining information from a compromised system. The first thing we're going to understand is file transfer. My very own way of doing file transfer is by exploiting an application on the target system, creating a server on the attacking system, and with that server using a command slash the IP of the attacker slash share and obtaining. In that way, we gain access to it. We can now do transfer between the victim machine and between the attacking machine. The second one is exploiting the application. So we're going to understand how to locate the configuration files of application, not only locating it using PowerShell or command prompt to also identify the configuration file. It's dangerous to keep configuration files on the user system because it can leak sensitive information. So we're going to steal sensitive information from the configuration file, use lateral movement, gain access to about 3 systems before finally gaining access to the administrator account. And finally, we are going to be able to decrypt the obtained hash from the application that was stored. We're going to decrypt it and gain a hash. We're also going to gain access to the cookie. It's very dangerous to leave your cookie on your system. It's always good from time to time to remove them. So we're going to gain access to the cookie. With the cookie, we're going to exploit a website. And with that website, we're going to get information from that website. Going to get information from that website that's going to allow us to also do another lateral movement into another system. With that, we're going to now gain access to the administrator account. After gaining access to the administrator account, then we are now eventually going to exploit the administrator account and gain access to it, and that is game over. So let's go right into it. Join me. So today we are going on Windows privilege escalation, and the first assignment is access the target machine Peter and get the credentials and get the application installed. So first thing we're going to do is to know what the target IP is, and we know the user, which the user is HTB student, and we also know the password. So we are going to be gaining access to the target machine using the RDP. The command is xfree RDP U for Peter, and V is going to be the IP. And we have the IP as the IP target is 10.129.203.122. That's the IP. And then the password. I'm going to copy the password and I'm going to paste the password. And finally, we use the dynamic resolution. What dynamic resolution does is to fit the screen of the target machine on your system to avoid any overlapping when you finally gain access to the target machine. So now we are now in the target machine. The first question is get the manage and connect to the remote system. Once the application installed, as we can see on the desktop, it's so easy to find this answer, and the application installed is mremote-ng, and that's our answer. The second question is find the configuration file. We have to find the configuration file for the application that we identified and attempt to obtain the credentials for the user grace. So we can see here to find the configuration file using PowerShell, there are certain commands using command prompt. There are also certain commands, but to make it easier for us, we're going to be using either of command prompt, which is directory C/program files, or PowerShell. But because I love using PowerShell and I like the commands, it make it easy to understand and learn. We start with the first one. All we have to do now is, now we're on the target machine, we go to PowerShell as a user and we copy and paste the command. The first command we copy and paste and we click enter. And the second command as well, we copy and paste and we click enter for the second command. And finally, the third command, we copy and paste the third command and we click enter. Please note that without copying and paste these three commands, we won't be able to issue the command that is going to provide the configuration files. That's what we're trying to get now, is getting access to the applications that is installed on the system. That's the installation. We're going to get the display name, the display version, and the installation name. So now we're going to copy and paste the final command here, and now we've got the access. And now we can see the file here, mremote, and we can see where it's installed on the computer. So now we know where it's installed on the computer. We are only going to focus on the assignment, what we want us to do, which is to get the configuration file for the mremote ng application and attempt to obtain the credential for the user Grace. What's the password for the local account Grace? Now we've gotten the location of where the application is, and now we have to connect mremote as a configuration where it stores the configuration file on the confcons.xml, and this is inbuilt for most applications. They have configurations files and different names of where they store their configuration for the application. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to go straight into where the file is kept. So we're going to check for the user Peter, and now we can see the user Peter. We can see the fcons.xml file. That location that you see user Peter app data roaming mremote ng is usually comes with inbuilt with the mremote ng. That's why it's very important to know the configuration files, where the locations where it's kept on this system. So we just get content. Get content is a way of reading the configuration file, and now we can see it in plain text, Grace, and the password. We can see the password also in plain text. The password is in an hash. Yeah, in my next video I'm going to talk more about hacking into the reading the hashes. But today on this video we're going to use a tool called mremote ng decrypt to decrypt the hash. So we're going to decrypt the hash for the configuration file using this tool on GitHub. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the git clone on this tool. So we're going to copy it, then we're going to go back to our system, and we're going to git clone the file. We're going to git clone the source code from GitHub, and we're going to send it over to the target machine. So because the target machine right now doesn't have internet access, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to first download it on the attacker machine. That's my machine. I'm going to download it with the simple command git clone and the copy and paste we just got out from the GitHub. So we're going to git clone and then just copy and paste, and boom, we have it now on the attacking system, which is my machine. So to find what is saved out, we can also issue the command ls. Or we can issue the command wget, and we can also issue the same command. So now we've cloned it on our system. Now, what I'm going to do next now is run a command to also download the source code on my system. So this is very important because some of the exploits or the payloads you get from GitHub, it also requires that after git cloning it, you have to still download the source code on the source code and manually decrypt it, manually build it, manually make it on your system for you to be able to make the payload work. So mind you that some of these are outdated. So if you trying to do it yourself and you go on the system and go on GitHub and find out that it's not working, just know that it usually maybe is outdated. But I've been able to get the payload that's not outdated, and that's what we're going to use to decrypt the hash that we just found. Decrypting this hash is really important. We cannot decrypt it on the attacking machine. We can only decrypt it on the victim machine. So after downloading it, I still have to send it to the victim machine. I have to still send it to the victim machine and decrypt it from there. So now .py, we're going to output it, and that boom, now we've gotten it saved in the machine. That's straight up download. All we have to do is wget and the command, and that's it. So now we're going to make it executable with this command chmod +x to make it executable. Without making executable, it's not going to be able to run on the target machine. So I'm going to make it executable by chmod +xm remote ng script underscore decrypt.py and clicking enter. Now is executable. Now it's an executable file. So next we're going to go to the question and see what the next step is. So from the next step, we can see now we're going to run the command for decrypting it. We're going to run the command for decrypting it, and the command for decrypting it is Python 3 mremote, then what we just downloaded, s and the hash, and p and admin. Okay, so I'll explain what that p and admin is in a second. But now we're going to click on that, and the hash we just got from the victim machine, we're going to paste the hash where on this part where we just got. We're going to paste the hash on this part, and then we're going to click enter, and we're going to get it in plain text. If you remember, I just said previously that we can only decrypt it on the victim machine. Yes, we can decrypt it on the victim machine, and when we click enter, you see we didn't get it because we had the p admin. So what this means is, for the p admin, sometimes it's encrypted, sometimes it uses a password, and when it uses a password, what it means that we can only decrypt it on the victim machine. Now I've gotten the password as princess01. Now we're going to the next question, which is login grace and the cookies for Slack, the app.com website. Use the cookie to log in. So now we're on the next question, which is log in as Grace and find the cookies for the Slack, the staff.com website. Use the cookie to log in. So now we'll now have to log into Grace with the password that we just found. So this is what they call the lateral movement. First, we are able to gain access to Peter's account. Now from Peter's account, we've been able to get the hash for Grace account. So we're still going to use the same IP because that's the internal IP. We're going to use the same IP now to move to Grace system, and we're still going to issue the same command. We're still going to go in through the RDP access to go integrate into Grace system to be able to steal her cookies and use her cookies and attempt to use the cookies to log into a website slacktheapp.com. And the only thing I need to change is I need to change Grace, the user as Grace, and I need to put the new password that we just found, Princess 01. And now I put the password there as Princess 01, and we click enter. And now we are in Grace account. Game over for Grace. So the next thing we're gonna do now is we're gonna go on the website slack the stapp.com website, and then we're gonna steal the cookie. So the way we're gonna steal the cookie is different, but it's another technique that attackers use to steal cookies from the victim machine. So we have what they call the cookie extractor.py, and we have the path. The path is a general path where the cookies are always kept. So we're going to extract Slack cookie from the Firefox cookie database, which is so easy. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that in a second. So the first thing we're going to do now is, and then we're going to abuse the cookies to get access to the IM client. So we have to first steal the cookie, and then we are going to abuse the cookie. So now we are now in Grace system, and we go to the Firefox. We see that cookie sign at the top right of the Firefox, that's where we're going to steal the cookie from. When we steal the cookie, we're going to input the cookie, and it's going to give us automatic access to the website without any password. So keynote here is the cookie we're going to steal is going to give us access to we're going to log in with the cookie we're going to retrieve. So we're going to use this app called the cookie extractor. What I'm going to do is, when I click on it, I'm going to copy this script. Is what is called a script. Script is a Python that is used to to inject a payload into the machine to do what you want it to do. So I'm going to use a tool called Nano, and I'm going to name it cookie extractor.py. I'm going to name it cookie extractor.py, and I'm going to save the script that I just downloaded. I'm going to save it in that cookie. So I'm going to save the script there, copy and paste, Ctrl X and Ctrl Y to save it. And after saving it, now we have it on our system, cookie extractor. So guess what we're going to do next? Yes, we're going to make it executable, because it is just a script. To make it executable, we use chimo plus X and then cookie extractor.py to make it executable. And now click on ls again, and we see now that it's gonna change from white to green. Green means now is a file. It's no more a document. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use this command. We're gonna use that command to locate where the cookie is kept. So we're going to do that on the system, that's on the target machine. We're going to go to the either of command prompt or PowerShell. So I'll be using PowerShell for this, and I'm going to click enter. So what that command will do is that command will list out the cookie. You see, once I've done that command, it lists out the cookie on the victim machine. So with that cookie, now we are going to extract the cookie in plain text. What I'm saying plain text is, that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this payload to the victim machine. My best way of transferring it is smb server.py sm2 support share and pwd. Why I love this is because transferring it through this means is also a way of exploiting the application. So I'm going to exploit the application called Paint, and exploiting the application called Paint. With that command I did, I'm going to click open, and I'm going to I'm going to / the targets, the attacking machine, that's my IP, / my IP. I'm going to copy and paste my IP there, and then / again, and I'm going to do share, and I'm going to do / again. And once I click enter, already I'm going to be sharing every document or folder that's on the victim machine where the server is loading, where the server is listening from. And now I have access to my attacking server, where the files is, where I just downloaded the cookie, and that's it. So I have it there now. So what I'm going to do instead now is I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it directly on the victim machine, which is the easiest way I do my transfer. I mean, there are so many ways of doing transfer. You can either use SAT util, you can use HTTPS, you can use Python, but this method is making me to understand how to make my skill set very much impressive. So this is the best way, but this might not always work for all systems, because you are trying to exploit an application on the system, using it to get the files in a GUI format. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to paste it. Now I'm going to copy it from the attacking machine and paste it on the victim machine. Now it's on the victim machine. So I went straight to where the C user's grace is located, and that's where I'm going to be pasting it. Why I'm pasting it there is because it's going to make it easier for me to locate the executable which I'm going to do. So if I do dir, now if you look, you're going to see it. You're going to see where it's pasted. So it's pasted in the download. So I went to download, and that's the file that I just pasted there directly. So that's how I transfer it from the attacking machine to the victim machine. Now that's now on the victim machine. Now I'm going to run the command, and I'm going to run the command Python 3 cookie extractor.py, what I just pasted, what I just sent over to the victim machine, / db path, then double semicolon home path, that's the path to the cookies.sql, then / host, then / cookie then d. So I'm going to do all that. So what I'm going to do now is, this is the file. So it's already on the system. So if it's not on the system, what you can do easily is just copy it, go to where you want it to be. That's C. You can go to the drive. This is how I transfer it. If you want to learn how to transfer it back to the attacking machine, so you transfer that. You see, that network is that IP is the IP of the attacking machine. That's my system, and that's it. I've got it on my system ls, and you can see cookies exclude. Yeah, so I can either do it now, I can either do it on the victim machine, or I can do it on my machine. But to make this tutorial easy, I'm gonna be doing it on the victim machine. So I'm gonna be running it with the same command I just said. So I'm gonna copy it, and I'm going to copy the command, I'm gonna paste the command. Mind you, remember that the path must be correct. The path to the cookies.slqt must be correct. So for that part is gonna be on my home page. So because it's located on the same file, now I've got the cookie. So this is the cookie of the victim machine which I just extracted. So I'm gonna copy the cookie, and I'm gonna go back to the Firefox. If you remember, I'm gonna click on this cookie icon, and I'm gonna click. I'm going to go log into the website we are trying to exploit. I'm going to click on D, and I'm going to change it, and I'm going to save it. And once I do a refresh, I'm in. That's how you exploit a website by extracting the cookie. And that's the final answer to the question. So the final answer to the question now is HTTP stealing cookies, and boom, that's it. So the next question now is log in as Jeff via RDP and find the password. So we can extract Jeff information from the chat. That's why it's important that you always clear off any configuration chat and you don't leak any configuration information on any chat, because linking it up can also lead to exposure, which is really not which is unethical. So we can see we've got Jeff, and we've got the password. So now we're going to go back now and access. We're going to do a lateral movement again, and we're going to access Jeff, and we're going to use the password that we just found for Jeff, and we're going to access Jeff's system. So now we've accessed 3 systems: HTB, we've accessed Grace, and now we're accessing Jeff's system. So the question now is, the question now is log in as Jeff via RDP and find the password for the restic backup. Submit the password as the final answer. So now we are in Jeff's system, and it's so easy because when we got into Jeff's system, right, we can see a file. We can see a file right there, and just when we click on that file, we've gotten the answer, which is super backup. So that's the answer for the backup configuration that was asked in the question. So that was the answer, but there's a different way of doing it, but the question is so easy, just copy and paste, and that's it. My next video, I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. So the next question now will be optional, which is restore the backup, the directory containing the files needed to obtain the password hashes for local user. Submit the administrator hash as the final answer. So to do this, we have to understand what restic is. So the directory where backup will be stored. Restic is a directory where backups are stored. So what it does is when you store a backup, it's easy to retrieve the backup with certain commands. So this is a repository where you can, when a user has a backup in the system, you can copy the backup, and when you copy the backup, there's a command you use to exploit the backup and also extract the hash. You extract the administrator hash from the backup. So let's go straight to the question now. So now it's saying that we should restore the directory. So we're on the system now. We click on the PowerShell, and we go straight to the E drive, that directory. We can see we have two files here. We have restic and we have restic2. Remember, we have the password before. The password we had when we logged in, we're going to use that password. But in case we don't have the password, we can create a password. But in this case, a password was already created. So we're not going to create a password now because a password was already created. So what we're going to do now is we're going to check if we can access these 2 files. So we're going to first check restic, and we're going to check restic2. So let's try restic2. Here we go, access to that. There we've got access. We've got some files here. So one of them contains what we are looking for. Let's see if we can go into the snapshot. We have that dir. Let's see what's inside. We see symbols or arches, but this is not what we're after. So we go out back. So we check the configuration. Usually it's in the configuration, but we don't have access to the configuration right now. So it's saying the access is not permitted. So we are going to go back. We're going to try again, but we don't have access to it. So now we're going to go now and check restic and see if we're going to have access to the configuration restic. So restic2, we can still give it another trial. Let's try restic2 configuration. Now it's saying that we don't have access to read the configuration file because this was created by possibly the admin, and it's not allowed for us to go in. So let's see if we can have access to the restic. So we're going dir, check the file, and let's see if we have configuration on this one, and still the same thing. So what this is telling us now is we don't have the permission to access these files yet. So in order to have these permissions, we can create a backup. we can create a backup, which we're going to do in a second. When we create a backup, then with the backup, we can have permissions to access the file, access the snapshot, and see what's in it for us. See how we can use, what we can do to exploit the backup. So how we're going to do is, let's go back to the question to refresh our memory. So to do that, we have to use this command env. This command, it creates an environment whereby you can access it. So we already have the password, so we're going to change that to the password that we found for Restic, which is the super backup. So we're going to put the super backup password there, and we're going to click enter. Now we've clicked enter, we now have the permission. So we've set the environment for us we've set the environment for the attacker to have access to the configuration, to the REST configuration files, and we can now read the hash that's in the configuration file. So now, initially we tried to gain access to Restic and we weren't able to do that. So now let's try again and see if it works. dir cd config, and okay, this doesn't work for Restic 2. Now let's try again for the Restic. So let's let's try again for Restic, and I believe this should now work because we've set the password environment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the question to see if we're missing any output in it, and I don't think we're missing any output in it. So we're gonna check the question properly. We have the environment set. We have that restic.exe c backup c folder. We don't have to create that because that was already created for us in the question. That was created for us in the question. That's why you see two folders. We see Restic and we see Restic 2. So one is the backup, and the other one is the copy. So because we've already set the environment with the password there, with that environment Restic password, we should be able to have access to it now. We can now use this command, make dir Restic 2, and create another backup. We can use that to create a backup to it, but already, like I said, it was already created. So it's saying we already have that file. That file already exists because it was already created for us in the question. So normally, if it wasn't created for us in the question, this is the command we're going to use to recreate the backup of the victim machine. We will create it, and with that we can use the password and gain access to it. So because it already exists, we're going to now gain access to the backup that was created. So now let's try with this command, and this command should provide us access to the information that we need. Yeah. So now let's copy and paste and click enter. Boom. It says fatal, wrong password or no key. Why it's saying fatal is because of Restic 2. That's the main file, not the backup. Now let's try the backup. Now we've gotten access to the information that we need. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. Now what we need to do now in this is now we need to now access. We need to create access the information that's in these folders, and from there we can now be able to obtain the hash for the target. So what we're going to do now is, let's check for this. This is a snapshot, which is correct. The next thing we're going to do, we have to try and access each and every of those. We have 5 files there, 5 parts there. So we have to access those 5 parts and see which one is the correct or the answer for the question. So now let's read through the question properly to see what we need to do. So this is the command we're going to use, and the 9971E8, we can see that on the ID. So what we're going to do next is we're going to copy and paste it, and for each ID we're going to change the ID to the ID of the information that we got. So we're going to copy and paste this first ID, and we're going to copy and we're going to paste it there. So remember, this is Restic A, how E Restic 2 restore. Then we copy and paste that. Then the target C restore, we are sending it to the C restore. Like I said initially, the mistake here is the restrict to. We have to remove that too, because that is not the copy of the backup that we made. So we have to be able to differentiate between the copy and the backup. And now the command went through, is showing us that we have found it, and the lab admin at Pillaging was sent to the C restore. So the only thing we need to do now is we need to access the C restore folder. Once we access the C restore folder, we can see the C file. We access that and we check the DRL. We see the Windows. We go into the Windows. We see what's in it. We see the system32. We go into the system32. We see what's in it. We check what's in that. We see the configuration file. We check what's in that. We check what's in that too. And now we can now see all the backups of the system. So this is the backup that the system did, which we copied and we have access to. So we are only after the SAM, the security, and the system. These three things, if you're very good in cybersecurity, you understand that these are the things that we can use to hack into the computer. So what we're going to do now instead is we're now going to find a way to copy and transfer this thing to our attacking system. So the very best way I do it, like I told you, is to exploit the print. So I'm going to do that quickly. I'm going to put my attacking IP there, and I'm going to click on share. So already I'm running the SMB. I'm already running the server here. So I'm going to click on share, and once I click enter, all I need to do now is I need to only copy it, locate the CE backup and configuration file is, and copy it and paste it to the attacking machine, and from there we can extract the information from there. So already I know where it's located, so I'm going to go straight there. So the most important thing is you understand where the parts. We understand where the part is. So we're looking now for the C drive. So we're going to go to the C drive. We're going to go to restore. We're going to go to C. We're going to go to Windows. We're going to go to system32. We're going to go to configuration. And if you remember, this was what I was doing initially. If you go back on the video, then we can see all the files that was backed up. So all I'm going to do now, one after the other, I'm going to copy SAM. I'm going to copy system, and I'm going to copy the security, one after the other. I'm going to paste it to my attacking machine. Now this is the network. This is my attacking system. So I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to paste it in downloads. I'll do it one after the other. First I've done the SAM, then I'm going to go. This is easy for me to transfer it because it provides me a GUI. It provides me with a display. I can easily know what I'm doing on the system. All I need to do is understand where the part is. That's be able to locate the information I'm needing. Be able to locate what I'm looking for. So I'm able to locate what I'm looking for, and I go to Windows like I did it previously, Windows, system32, configuration, and now we have access to this. So remember, all you just have to do is Ctrl+C, you copy it, and you go back now to the attacking machine through this user interface. That's it. Just click on the network, and that's the share. I'm using my attacking machine to share. I have access to all what's in my system now. So it's a two-way thing. I can transfer to the victim, and the victim can transfer to me using this means of file transfer. So the next one I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the final. So I have SAM, I have system, and I'm going to have security, and I'm going to go see Windows system32. Then I'm going to look for the system. I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to go back to my attacking share where I'm connecting from. I'm going to go to downloads. I'm going to paste it. Now I have these three information, these three things. I'm going to close the share, and now I have access to it. Now I can easily retrieve the hash that I need. I can easily retrieve it now. So it's disconnecting. Control C is to disconnect, and if you type Control C twice, you'll be able to disconnect from it. So the next command I'm going to do is I'm going to use the secret dump. I'm going to use the secret dump to get the hash of the hash of the question. So the command to use the secret dump. Secret dump is a tool where you can use to get the hash, and I'm going to be using secret dump to get the hash. So I'm going to use secret dump system. Because we have the system. Remember, we downloaded it. The ls6 system, SAM, and security, secret dump.py/system/security, then the security that we just copied and paste, then slash SAM, and then SAM, which that refers to where the folder is. So we have to place this command where the folder is, otherwise it's not going to work. Right, so we're gonna ensure that it's located where the folder is. So now it's gonna work. So now we have what we need, which we have the hashes for Jeff, for Grace, for Peter, for all the users that have logged into the system. We have all the hashes, and that leads us to the final question there. So that's the final question there. So So now that's the hash that we have been looking for. So the optional exercises now we're gonna go is we now have to use the pass the hash technique to log in as administrator. Now we have the hash already. If you remember, we have the hash of the administrator that we found here. So we are now doing a lateral movement, and one of the best tools I use for my lateral movement is the evo. I love using the evo because it's either in or is in. There is no mix up in the evo. So the command is evo/winrmi, then the victim's IP 10.129.203.122, and then /u, the username admin, which is administrator, and then the hash /h, the hash that we just found, the previous hash that we just found here, which I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. So the NTLM hash starts from that's the last bit of the hash. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it there, and I'm going to click enter. Boom, we're in the system. Now, if I say who I am, then I'm the administrator. So now I have access to the whole system. I'm in control. I've hacked my way from low user account to the main account and done. So this video is strictly for educational purposes. Follow and like, thank you, and share. Now that we've come to the end, please don't forget to hit the like button, share, and comment. Give me your thoughts. I want to know what you think.